Hello guys, welcome to the video Rocket League Diary 35. So what we'll be discussing today is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I'm not going to be kind of, taking an ideological side about any of this. We're not going to get into who's right and who's wrong. Instead, I think it would be better, actually. What an absolute stunner of a goal. I think it would be best to kind of start off by just discussing the history of the conflict. If we understand history, if we understand where it began, then we've got a better chance of solving it. So of course we could go all the way back to kind of biblical times. Ultimately, it's sort of who has rights over Jerusalem. A lot of people believe they've got rights over Jerusalem, over the holiest places kind of in the great monotheistic religions. Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Judaism being the elder of the monotheistic religions. Christianity being kind of the awkward middle child, and Islam being the new kid on the block, so to speak. But we're not going to go back that far because we're never going to get done. We've only got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, actually, to kind of get all of this out. So let's begin with the development of Zionism. Basically, the kind of ideology of Zionism, that would have began in the late 19th century, early 20th century. And really what Zionism was about securing a safe home for the Jewish people, a Jewish state, But the thing is, what was then Ottoman Palestine? Palestine under the Ottoman Empire. They'd had Jewish immigration before the development of Zionism. Jews had been moving over there, and really there wasn't that much tension in the very early days. In the very early days, it didn't really happen. When you had some Zionists moving over from Europe, looking to avoid persecution of the Jewish people, and they kind of made a massive push for Jewish people to immigrate over to Palestine, it's when it had this backing of Zionism that things started to get a little bit harder for the Ottoman Palestinians. Mainly because of sort of land grabs, we're talking forced evictions, that type of thing. Really much of the same sort of thing as we sometimes see today. Woo! And of course this very much changed the landscape of Palestine, the political landscape. You're probably asking, was there any justification for this? Well, let me educate you. The justification came in something called the Balfour Declaration. Now the Balfour Declaration, this was an agreement made by the British and Zionist Jews ultimately it was a promise that to avoid the persecution that many Jewish people had felt in Europe throughout the 19th century and beyond, that if they were to aid the battle against Germany and against the Austro-Hungarian Empire, that they would be almost rewarded with the Jewish state. That was the idea. That was the general idea of the Balfour Declaration. Of course, the problem with the Balfour Declaration, the main issue with it, would have been that the British were a little bit duplicitous in their agreement, because they had also made an agreement with the Ottoman Empire, that if the Ottoman Empire would also help Britain and its allies to win in the First World War, then the Ottoman Empire, they would have rights over that territory as well. Oh! So of course, once Britain and the Allies won, both peoples, they felt they had some claim over the land. Things started to get a little bit complicated. So what do you have? What did we have at that point? You had two peoples who believed that they had claims over the Holy Land. I think it looks like we're out of time though. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought we would have more time to really get into the nitty-gritty of it. But I guess not, actually. So I don't know. I mean, maybe just maybe just make up your own conclusions. Give it some thought. Give it some real thought, and then see where you sort of lie on the issue. Maybe you're on the British side. Just food for thought. We'll come back to this in another video, but thank you very much for watching, and be you Israeli, be you Palestinian, be you British. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, because ultimately, is that not the most important thing? You have to ask yourself some big questions. Is that not the most important thing?